Come through the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU. This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out the website, catchhookshoot.com, where you can listen to all the podcasts, watch all the videos, see all the interviews, the photo gallery, pick up some merchandise, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Head to ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for merchandise you won't find on the website. And you can find all that plus more on our Linktree, which is Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or just scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's CatchHookShoot@gmail.com. So let's dive into everything going on in the crazy world of pro wrestling this week, starting it all off with our lead story. So the lead story for this week, the storyline that I'm most interested in, that I've been seeing kind of a slow build for quite a while on this one in AEW, is Wardlow and MJF. Now, Wardlow came in as MJF's bodyguard, backup, heater, heavy, whatever you want to call him, and has been with MJF for quite a while now. And the last more than just the last few weeks, we've seen glimpses of it here and there of MJF kind of, not showing Wardlow a whole lot of respect, and you can tell Wardlow's getting a little bit tired of it. Now, I've been following Wardlow for a long time. He wrestled regularly for Warrior Wrestling here in Chicago before getting signed to AEW, and I think they're getting ready for him to break out on his own. Anytime we've seen him in a match in AEW, he's phenomenal. I mean, Wardlow is a fantastic wrestler. He's great in the ring. We don't hear him talk a whole lot, which I'm sure is going to change at some point. But I've interviewed Wardlow. He's a great talker, very good speaker. So I'm dying to see Wardlow finally break away from MJF and get out on his own. And obviously when he does, he's going to be a babyface, because from that pairing, if somebody's going to turn babyface on somebody else, it ain't going to be MJF. So the last couple of weeks we've been seeing it a little bit more, him kind of getting in MJF's face after MJF kind of threw him to the wolves with Sting. And again, Wardlow caught another beatdown from Sting and Darby Allin this week. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this again, kind of a slow burn with AEW. That's kind of their thing. They've done this with a few storylines. So I'm waiting for this one to just blow up, because I think the MJF Wardlow feud is going to be a very good one. And, I think we're going to see Wardlow really break out as a single star in AEW when it finally does happen. So that's the lead story for the week. So let's get into our next segment here, where I break down my favorite match, or in some cases the best match, whatever it might be, but it's the match of the week. So picking the match of the week this week was actually a little bit hard. There was a few candidates for this one from AEW, from Impact, but the one that I settled on is Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. My God, these guys beat the shit out of each other. I mean, the chops and kicks and everything else being thrown in this match, it was just unbelievable. And this was a match in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Bryan Danielson was victorious in this one, but I mean, by the time this match was over, Danielson's chest looked like hamburger. I mean, these guys beat the hell out of each other in there and just put on a fantastic match. If you have not seen this one, go back and watch it. It was on Rampage this week, and just an amazing match between these two guys. So definitely go back and check this one out. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston for the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Just wow. Just a fantastic match between these two guys. If, like I said, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. You are doing yourself a disservice as a wrestling fan if you have not seen this match. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. So, yeah, go check this one out. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. So next up, we got my top 3 highlights of the week, and that's called the 3 count. First up on the 3 count, Moose, the new Impact World Champion, came out and cut a pretty damn good promo at the opening of Impact this week. Basically proclaiming himself the best world champion in wrestling, the most important world champion in wrestling right now, saying he doesn't care how elite you are or what tribe you're the head of, or if you're the boss or if you're the man. Basically, taking shots at anybody and everybody, talking about the New Day and all this kind of stuff, and just a damn good promo from Moose. So I was surprised by that one, and yeah, so that's number 1 on the 3 count. Number 2, Shotzi Blackheart turns heel on Smackdown, and really the only highlight I've got from Smackdown this week is Shotzi turning heel. Took a loss to Charlotte Flair and then just went nuts on Sasha Banks, who was trying to help her up and everything after the match. And so yeah, Shotzi with the heel turn on SmackDown. And then number 3 on the 3 count, CM Punk and Eddie Kingston had a bit of a confrontation on Rampage. This was after the Kingston and Danielson match. Punk was getting interviewed backstage by Tony Schiavone, and Kingston was making his way to the back, and thought Punk was laughing at him and got right up in Punk's face. So I think that's going to be the next rivalry that we're going to see for these two guys in AEW, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see that one. I mean, like I just talked about a little while ago, Danielson and Kingston beat the living shit out of each other, so I can't wait to see what Kingston and Punk are going to do to each other. Maybe that's something we'll see at Full Gear, or who knows, we may see it on Dynamite or Rampage coming up in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have to wait on that one. So getting into some other stuff going on in wrestling this week, Seth Rollins is the new number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. He won a fatal 4-way ladder match to win that distinction. We found out from Adam Pearce, Brock Lesnar has been fined $1 million for his attack on Adam Pearce last week. Of course, that's storyline, obviously, but so that's in addition to his indefinite suspension. NXT had their Halloween Havoc show this week, and Toxic Attraction is now dominating the women's division in NXT. Mandy Rose wins the NXT Women's Championship from Raquel Gonzalez, and Gigi Dolan and JC Jane won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in a triple threat ladder match. So congratulations to them. And another title change in NXT, Imperium is your new NXT Tag Team Champions, getting those titles off of MSK, formerly known as the Rascals, who had those titles for quite a little bit here. I believe it was about 200 days that they had those championships, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, Imperium, your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Moving on to some AEW news, we saw Darby Allin come back this week on Dynamite and laid down a challenge to MJF for Full Gear. So can't wait to see that one finally with those two. Sammy Guevara retained the TNT Championship against Ethan Page, and the stipulation on that was if Guevara lost, he would have to leave the Inner Circle. But obviously that didn't happen. Then Page and Scorpio Sky went on the attack after the match, beating down Sammy Guevara. The remaining members of the Inner Circle came down for the save, and it's going to be the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team at Full Gear in a street fight, a 5-on-5 10-man tag street fight at Full Gear, and we'll find out next week what members of American Top Team besides Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are going to be round out that team. So yeah, Inner Circle versus American Top Team at Full Gear in a street fight should be interesting. Hikaru Shida advances in the TBS title tournament with a victory over Serena Deeb, kind of redeeming herself from the loss that she took last week. And Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson both advanced in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Moxley with a victory over the Dark Order's 10 in a little bit of a bloodbath in that one. 10 got busted open fairly early in the match, took a few stitches, and then Danielson with the victory over Kingston, like I talked about earlier. So both of them advanced in the World Title Tournament. And then on a Rampage this week, the main event was a trick-or-treat match between Britt Baker and Abaddon. Now, if Abaddon would have won, she would have earned a World Title match at some point in the future. But Britt Baker was victorious, of course, with a little bit of help from her friends. So... But yeah, actually a very good match though. A lot of interesting spots. There were thumbtacks and tables and kendo sticks and all kinds of fun stuff in that trick or treat match. So I would definitely recommend checking that one out as well. It was a fun match. I enjoyed it. Moving on to some Impact stuff. Minoru Suzuki made his Impact debut. Came out, got in the face of Josh Alexander, and of course there was an exchange of forearms and. So can't wait to see what's going to come of that one. Madison Rayne laid down a challenge to Mickie James, who's the new Impact Knockouts champion after winning that title from Deonna Purrazzo last week. And we found out next week there's going to be a 6-man tag team match. Moose, Morrissey, and Minoru Suzuki are going to be taking on Josh Alexander, Matt Cardona, and Eddie Edwards. And that, of course, is stemming from that promo that I talked about for Moose. Eddie Edwards came out and tried to jump on Moose, and Matt Cardona, of course, making a case for himself for wanting a world title shot. So that ended up with Scott D'Amore making the 6-man match for next week. Some news coming out of MLW. Mance Warner has been released, and apparently he's been asking for his release for a while. So yeah, Mance Warner no longer part of MLW. We found out also that Enzo is going to be making his MLW debut in the coming weeks, so that should be interesting. And Bobby Fish and TJP both advanced in the Opera Cup. And Bobby Fish, of course, wrestling for both MLW and AEW. And Fish got a victory. This was actually a contender for Match of the Week. Fish with the victory over Lee Moriarty. Both of these guys actually signed with AEW right now. So, but yeah, Bobby Fish was the winner in that one. Him and TJP both advanced to the next round of the Opera Cup. TJP got the victory over Alex Shelley. And MLW going to be having their War Chamber event. Now, that is their version of War Games, the 5-on-5 inside the double ring, double cage. And it's going to be happening November 6th. It's Alexander Hammerstone's team taking on Contra units. So that should be brutal, to say the least. And some kind of weird news coming out of Ring of Honor. Every wrestler on the Ring of Honor roster has been released from their contracts. Now, from what I understand, this is going to take effect after their final Battle pay-per-view, which is coming up in December. But yeah, everyone has been released, and Ring of Honor will be going on a self-imposed hiatus at that point. And they're going to be, quote-unquote, reimagining the company, and they're tentatively, I guess, coming back in April of 2022. But Ring of Honor effectively shutting down at the end of the year, and has released everyone from their contracts. And supposedly, there's a lot of speculation. They're supposedly going to be focusing more on independent talent, basically just revamping the whole company. Obviously, now there's speculation that they're going to just flat out go out of business. Who knows, honestly? But according to Sean Ross Sapp, the Ring of Honor tape library is for sale to the highest bidder. So I would keep an eye on that. I mean, we all know how Vince McMahon is about acquiring tape libraries, so you may see the Ring of Honor library pop up on Peacock as part of the WWE network here in the next coming months. Or, if Tony Khan wants to outbid him, I could see, Tony Khan picking that up as well, because you got guys like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, who came up through Ring of Honor before their stints in WWE. So this could be a little bit of a bidding war on the Ring of Honor tape library. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. But yeah, it's definitely makes for some interesting interesting stuff going on here with everybody getting released. So you've got names like Jonathan Gresham, Mike Bennett, the Briscoe brothers, Jay Lethal, Danhausen, PCO. All these guys are going to be free agents now come December or before, I guess, depending on how their contracts are structured or how their releases are structured. So yeah, keep an eye on that. There's going to be a ton of free agents out there, and I have my own feelings about who I think should go where. Yes, I want to see Jonathan Gresham go to AEW. Hell yes. I mean, think of the matches that could go on there. But same thing with Jay Lethal. Same thing with the Briscoe brothers. I mean, put the Briscoe brothers in the AEW tag team division. Tell me you wouldn't want to see the Briscoe brothers versus FTR. Come on now, that's already been thrown out there on social media by FTR. So yeah, a lot of goings on with Ring of Honor. So right now I am going to throw it over to Charlie G for the next segment of the show, and he is here with the Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with this week's Indie Cut. It is a busy time in the wrestling world, so we begin with Saturday, October 23rd, and Pro Wrestling 01 USA from Mattoon, Illinois. For the 01 USA World Junior Heavyweight Title, champion Jimmy Carrot defeated Victor Analog, and for the 01 USA Heavyweight Title, champion Camilo Jackson defeated Tanner Keeler. We head down to Wrestling for a Cause 10-year anniversary show from Wagner, Oklahoma. For the primetime title, Richie Adams defeated champion Tommy Dean to become the champion. And a loser leaves Wrestling for a Cause. Wesley Crane defeated Mr. Nasty. In a four-way tag title match, Johnny Dynamite and Johnny Lightning are your new champions. And for the heavyweight title, no holds barred match, Luke Langley defeated champion Alex Royal to become new champion there as well. To SCW Pro Wrestling, Pro Hulkamania 14, Wicked Ways from Iowa City, Iowa. Dante Leon defeated Connor Braxton. And for the Iowa title in a ladder match, Josh C. defeated JT Energy to become the champion. Japan Strong, don't need to go into that. Coastal Championship Wrestling, Trial by Fire from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Christy James defeated Bianca Corelli. And then we go over to Game Changer Wrestling, War Ready from Los Angeles, California, on Fight TV. Fun show, of course. In an 8-way scramble match, Alley Catch defeated ASF, Brandon Getson, Eli Everfly, Gringo Loco, JTG, Lucas Riley, and Matt Vandergriff. Alex Zane defeated Jonathan Gresham, an awesome match between those two. AJ Gray defeated the Dark Sheik. Ninja Mac defeated Erase. I don't know how that happened, but he did. Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie defeated Jacob Fatu and Juicy Finau. With Charlie pinning Finau, of all things. Juicy's like 500 pounds, and Starboy Charlie's like 100. So, interesting matchup there. I'll get to Starboy Charlie later on. Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne went to a no contest, thanks to Atticus Cogar coming out and attacking Jordan, of course, and Nick, because Atticus is a punk. For the GCW Tag Team titles, this should have spelled the beginning of the end for Ring of Honor. The Briscoes, Jay and Mark Briscoe, defeated Lance Warner and Matthew Justice to become new GCW Tag Team Champions. So the Briscoes are Tag Team Champions outside of Ring of Honor, and that's probably not the first time that will happen. Effie defeated Psycho Clown in a very entertaining match between those two. And then the tour of Suzuki continued with Minoru Suzuki defeating Nick Gage in a fine contest. Nice. They went through the crowd, kicked each other's butt. That's what you expected. Back here in Itasca, Illinois for Freelance Underground, the final phase. So we'll start off with the GPA opening, having an open enrollment challenge for his heavyweight championship, in which Calvin Tankman answered, defeating GPA in 25 seconds to become new Freelance Underground heavyweight champion. I gotta say congrats to him. After the match, Tankman said he wanted to be in the main event. So Project Monix came out, accepting the Tankman's challenge for the title. So it turned out to be Calvin Tankman, who was the new champion, going against Project Monix in what is his final match. More on that in a bit. We had Harlow O'Hara defeating Blair Onyx for a Freelance Underground Independent title in a 6-way scramble. Storm Grayson defeated champion Laney Luck, Cole Radrick, Dan the Dad, Trevor Outlaw, and Wes Barkley, and where Grayson hit a V-trigger on Barkley for the win. Shane Mercer defeated Brian Keith for the Freelance Underground tag titles. The Bang Bros of August Matthews and Davey Bang, who are champions, defeated the Philly Marino Experience, who is Marino Tangala and Philly Collins. Charlie Evans defeated Billy Starks. In a Prison Yard Rules match, Darius Luttrell and Coda Hernandez, known as Pick and Pop, defeated the Cocoa Buffs of Acid Jazz and Marche Rockette. And in the main event, it was Calvin Tankman, who's now the champion, defeating Project Monix in a bloody 21-minute battle. At the end of the match, Monix took to the mic after management Andy Long and Matt Nix came out to the ring, presenting Monix with the original Freelance Underground Championship as a going-away present. As Monix was talking, he reflected on his career, but midway through his promo, his voice changed. He started to pretty much tell off the crowd and management and other wrestlers to go where, he started just cursing out the whole crowd. So he said, "Welcome to the final phase," as he bashed Long with the title belt. As Nix came up, he also ate a punch to the face. And then Monix put the Rings of Saturn on Matt Nix as well. Monix then said, "I hope you all die." Told his buddy, "Get the keys and let's go." So it is not the end of Project Monix as we all thought. So we will see how long that lasts. It could have just been a nice swerve since Kyler couldn't make the show, and he could, so he's going to still keep going and probably go after the championships or other titles along the way. Finally, for Saturday, it was AAA tape matches. So we had Vikingo dressed as Spider-Man defeating Black Taurus, who was Venom, for the AAA World Mixed Tag Title. We had Ariz and Cheek Tormenta defeating champions Lady Maravilla and Viano III Jr. to become the champions. And then in the six-man tag, we had La Impresa of DMT Azul, Puma King, and Sam Adonis defeating Vikingo, Laredo Kid, and Murder Clown. And a pretty fun match there. On to Sunday, October 24th. Aquino Produce Show, Happy Birthday to Me. So we had Aquino in a four-way match defeating Hiryo Matsumoto, Kari Yoniyama, and Rina Yamashita. So put themselves over on their birthday. Back here in the States, we had Southern Underground Pro, True Believers from Nashville, Tennessee. AC Mack defeated Davey Bang. Daniel Makabe defeated Cole Radrick. Cabana Man Dan defeated Brandon Williams. And for the SUP tag titles, champions Dominic Garrini and Kevin Cool defeated Chase Holiday and Hoodfoot. To Shine 69 in Clearwater, Florida, Natalia Marikova defeated Erica Torres. Brittany Blake defeated Tracy Nix. Pretty cool match there. For the Shine Nova title, Amber Nova defeated champion DeWode by DQ, so no title change there. Then we had Santana Garrett defeat Casey Lennox. A nice match. And for the Shine title, we had champion Eva Lees defeated Stormy Lee. To Real Pro Wrestling Invasion of the Body Slammers in Fort Myers, Florida. For their tag titles, we had Logan Cruz and Weezy T, who are champions, defeated Blanco Loco and Dream Girl Ellie. And for the Top Crown title, champion Ryzen defeated Vertigo Rivera. I want to mention CZW is back in action with a show called Renaissance of Tradition from Blackwood, New Jersey. No real big names in that show, so they're going to start off pretty low, it seems like, and work their way back up. But nice to see CZW back in action. Down to Mexico and CLLL, and a Falls tag man, two Falls Max, Cavernario and TJP defeated Atlantis Jr. and Fugaz. So TJP still making his rounds in CLLL. On to Monday, October 25th, and Big Japan Pro Wrestling for their tag titles. Daichi Hashimoto and Hideyoshi Kamatani defeated champions Daisuke Sakamoto and Yuji Yokobayashi to become the champions. And for the GCW Ultra Violent title, Halloween from Hell Deathmatch. That sounds interesting. Masashi Takeda defeated champion Drew Parker to become the new champion there as well. Tuesday, October 26th. New Japan Road to Power Struggle Day 3. For IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles, Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask defeated El Desperado and Kanemaru, who are champions, to become new tag team champions. So Tiger Mask at the age of 50-something is a junior heavyweight tag title holder. Congrats to him. Then a brief note on Jamie Levin's Halloween Hootenanny, where Starboy Charlie had broke his leg. He was in a tag match with Nick Dwayne going against the West Coast Wrestling Crew, where he was trying to deliver an assisted sliced bread number 2 on Royce Isaacs, but Charlie landed wrong and quickly held his ankle and his leg. The match was called off, so yeah, he broke his leg, and so he'll be out for quite some time. This reminds me of Margo Stunt getting injured right when he was getting popular with the crowd and being picked up all over the place. He got hurt. So if Marco's an example, Starboy Charlie should be fine. Keep him all in your wishes, and he will be back sooner and better than ever, I'm sure, once he heals up. On to Wednesday, October 27th. Sealing. We had Kari Oniyama and Yu defeated Mei Suruga and Riko Kaju. And they also had 2 Beyond the Sea tag team contendership matches. No need to get into those. GLEAT Pro Wrestling version 8, Volume 8, where we had the Strong Hearts of Al Lindemann, Single Hero Erie, and T-Hawk defeat Shima, Kaz Hayashi, and Minoru Tanaka. I wish I knew why Shima was not with the Strong Hearts in this, but should be interesting if you watch it. To Unsanctioned Pro 15, What the F is Happening, from Columbus, Ohio. For the Unsanctioned Pro heavyweight title, 5-way scramble match, champion Cole Radrick defeated Austin Connolly, Everett Cross, Christian Robinson, Victor Analog to retain his championship. For the unsanctioned pro tag titles, we had Aaron Williams and Lord Crew defeat champion John Wayne Murdoch and Satu Jin to become the champions. For unsanctioned pro hardcore title hyperviolence final match, champion Lexus Montez defeated Jake something. I might have said that last week, but they just showed it, so I figured say it again. To Thursday, October 28th, 2 AW Grand Slam and Kurgan Hall. Saki Aki defeated Rina Sengaki. And for the 2 AW Openweight title, Single Hero Erie defeated champion Tashi Takazawa to become the champion. Noah go on the demolition stage for the GHC national title. Masaki Michizuki defeated champion Takashi Segura to become the champion. Back here in the States, Ohio Valley Wrestling, TV 1159. In a non-title match, Sierra defeated Dream Girl Ellie. And they had a bunch of first-round Nightmare Cup matches. Global Syndicate Wrestling, High Voltage, Season 2, Episode 4 on YouTube. For the Soul of Syndicate title, champion Masa Slamovich, who's champion, defeated Dami Exo. Back here for AAW Alive 24. It's on YouTube. So Storm Grayson defeated Connor Braxton. Enrico De La Vega defeated Logan James and Tyler Matrix. And Thomas Shire defeated Gary J. Beyond Wrestling, Uncharted Territory, Season 3, Episode 4 on IWTV. Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order defeated Teddy Goods. Wheeler Yuta defeated Masa Slamovich. Chris Dickinson and Willow Nightingale defeated Brandon Kirk and Casey Kirk. And John Silver defeated Aaron Rourke. And of course, at the end, people wanted to jump in, and Alex came out, so it was Dark Order all over again, just like they used to do in Beyond, just not with the Dark Order. On to Friday, October 29th. Defy Wrestling Back in Action with Marauders from Seattle, Washington. Jacob Fatu went against Jeff Cobb to a no contest. That had to be pretty cool. And Jeff Cobb's in the States, so watch out. El Phantasmo defeated Sonico. For the PCW Ultra Women's title, champion Viva Van defeated Allie Ketch. And in a street fight, Homicide defeated Ethan HD. So if Defy ever comes out anywhere, I say watch it. Now here in Berwyn, Illinois, for AEW Pro Jim Lynam Memorial Tournament Day 1. To say the winners. So first round matches: Lee Moriarty, Daniel Garcia, Alexander Hammerstone, Matt Fitchett. ACH, Shaft, Minor Reed, and Josh Alexander all won their matches. Then we also had for the AEW Heavyweight title, champion Fred Yahya defeated Sean Logan. Then asked for someone else, and he defeated Paco Gonzalez. And then he asked for someone else, and he defeated Gringo Loco. So yeah, he had 3 matches, all back to back to back, and he won them all pretty handily. Down to Mexico and CLLL, where we had Angel Duro, El Terrible, and Carbonario defeat Euphoria, Hachirio, and Mephisto. And then Gran Guerrero, Templario, and Ultimo Guerrero defeated Mystico, Teton, and Valador Jr. And then minutes ago, on Saturday, October 30th, AEW Pro was back in action with Hell Hath No Fury, also from Berwyn, Illinois, on Fight TV. Braden Lee and Jake Lander defeated Joey Avalon and Trevor Outlaw. For the AEW Women's title, champion Allison Kay defeated Nicole Savoy in a really good match. In a Fans Bring the Weapons match, which included a pumpkin filled with thumbtacks, a water bottle tied to a mop, a Barbie dream car, Christy Janes and Sky Blue defeated Axel Rico and Enrico De La Vega, finally making up for all the punishment they've given them. Thunder Rosa defeated Jody Threat in a pretty good match there. And for the AEW Heavyweight title, champion Fred Yahai defeated Silas Young. So that Ring of Honor door is open. Silas was replacing Eddie Kingston, who could not make it to the show. Pretty good match there. Before I go, I forgot to say thank you to Warrior Wrestling last week for all their hospitality. It was an awesome show and night, of course. Thank you to the Lucha Table for my new gear I will be sporting from now on or behind me on YouTube if you watch. So thank you for all the shirts. If you ever go to a Lucha show, Warrior show or any show around the Chicagoland area, I'm sure they will be there. Check them out. They are awesome. One more thing. Pat McAfee, you're stupid. That's a wrap for me. Till next time with more show results and recaps. Don't forget to keep enjoying wrestling the world how you like it, wherever you can or listen to. Nice. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe. Take care and be kind, everyone. Happy Halloween. And back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So next up on the show, I'm going to break down my my personal rankings for who I thought had the best week in wrestling, and that is the top 5. All right, so starting off the top 5, right off the bat, numbers 1, 2, and 3, Toxic Attraction in NXT, basically taking over the women's division. Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, kind of the female version of the Undisputed Era, just taking all of the gold in the women's division, with Mandy Rose taking the NXT Women's Championship and Gigi Dolan and JC Jane taking the women's tag team titles. So that right there is the first 3 of the top 5. Number 4, I guess you could say, out of the top 5, Hangman Page getting one up on the Elite. Of course, they had a match against the Elite had a match against the Dark Order during the during Dynamite on Wednesday. It was kind of like a costume match. Anyway, the Elite came down dressed as the Ghostbusters with a big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who everybody thought was Brandon Cutler, but it turned out Cutler had been detained, I guess would be a good word for it, by the Dark Order, and dressed up as a horse for their entrance. Ended up coming down during some chicanery that was going on during the match, and ate a 4-way BTE trigger from all 4 members of the Super Elite. And when they pulled the horse head off of him, it was Brandon Cutler tied up and gagged, and it turned out that the giant Stay Puft Man with the Elite was actually Hangman Page, and the Dark Order ended up being victorious in that match. And number 5 on my top 5 this week, Seth Rollins, like I talked about, winning that ladder match in the number 1 contendership for the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. So, that is the top 5. Toxic Attraction, Hangman Page, and Seth Rollins for this week. So let's get into the next part of the show here, where I get to play Armchair Promoter, and I'm talking about the Fantasy Booker. So this week's Fantasy Booker is something that I hope will happen eventually at some point. Now, by all accounts, the working relationship between AEW and Impact is done for the moment, but the door's still open, I guess, from everything that I've seen and heard and read. So hopefully this match will take place at some point, but the match that I want to see, that I'm booking this week on the Fantasy Booker, is Trey Miguel versus Dante Martin. I would love to see this match. I don't care if it's in Impact. I don't care if it's in AEW. I don't care if it's at Warrior Wrestling, where Trey is the champion and Dante has performed multiple times. I want to see this match. This will be one of the fastest moving, high-flying, crazy spot fests you have ever seen, and I'm here for it, because these guys are 2 of the best young stars in wrestling right now. So, Trey Miguel and Dante Martin. Somebody, somewhere, book this match. Steve at Warrior, I'm looking at you. Book this match. give Dante a shot at the Warrior title. But however it happens, wherever it happens, whenever it happens, it's going to be insane. You're going to see some of the craziest stuff you've ever seen, and it's got to happen eventually. And like I said, these are two of the best young stars in wrestling right now. Trey Miguel, the current X Division champion, as well as the Warrior Wrestling champion. Dante Martin has been just tearing it up as a single star in AEW since his brother has been injured. So, so like I said, somebody, somewhere, sometime, book this match. So that's a fantasy booker for this week. And getting into the last segment of the show here, where I talk about sometimes a little bit of a controversial topic, sometimes an unpopular opinion, whatever you want to call it. I call it the weekly hot take. All right, so this week's hot take is a little bit more serious subject matter. Eddie Kingston came out in one of his promos this week prior to his match with Bryan Danielson, basically, talking about his mental health and his struggles, because Bryan Danielson had implied that, doesn't work that hard and things like that, typical wrestling promo. And but Kingston, made mention of his mental health. He deals with depression and all that kind of stuff. And there were some people, I'm not even going to refer to them as fans, because they're not. I'm sorry, you're not. If you're saying this kind of crap online, you're not a fan. I don't even qualify you as a human if you're saying this kind of garbage. Making jokes out of it. Mental health is not a joke. The number of people that struggle with depression and anxiety and all this kind of stuff, it's not a joke. I struggle with it myself. I'll admit it. I struggle with depression and anxiety, and it's not fun, and it's not easy. And if you've never dealt with it, you are damn lucky, number one. And number two, you have no business making any kind of comment on it, negatively, because you don't have the first clue what you're talking about. And I saw a few people online saying, talking crap about it. And you know what? You're trash. You're not even a human being in my eyes. You're lower than garbage if you sit there and make a joke out of somebody's mental health. Look at the names just in wrestling of people that have lost their lives because of mental health struggles. Hana Kimura, Daphne, Ashley Massaro. I mean, come on. Chris Kanyon. It's ridiculous that anybody could think that it's not a serious topic, that it's something to be joked about. And, for Eddie Kingston to talk about it in a public forum like that, even if it is for a promo, that's something that's exposing yourself to the entire world. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, and for somebody to make light of it or make a joke out of it, it's trash. I don't know any other word for it. So yeah, mental health is not a joke. If you know somebody who's struggling with it, just be there for them, support them, and that kind of thing. And if you have nothing good to say about it, or you just don't know anything about it because you've never had to deal with it, like I said, number one, you're lucky, and number two, keep your bullshit to yourself. Because no, you're not entitled to an opinion. That's what everybody loves. Oh, I'm entitled to my opinion. Fuck you. No, you're not. Not when it comes to shit like that you have no knowledge of whatsoever. So, sorry for the crass language there, but this is something that I take very seriously. So that's pretty much it for the weekly hot take. Mental health is not a joke. Period. So that's going to wrap things up for this week for Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out the website, catchhookshoot.com. You can find all the podcasts, videos, interviews, photo galleries, merchandise, and a whole bunch of other stuff there. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for merchandise you won't find on the website. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. If you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com, and you can find all that and a whole lot more on our Linktree, which is this little QR code right here, Linktree/catchhookshoot. So that's going to wrap us up for this week. thank you to everybody for checking out the show, and keep an eye on the socials. I'm going to have a special giveaway coming up in the very near future. You're not going to want to miss it. Trust me. Just keep an eye on the socials. I'll be releasing more information about that in the coming weeks. So make sure to check us out there. But for right now, I am going to sign off. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.